Well, good morning from the cottage farmstead. If we haven't met before, I'm Rebecca. This is Farmer Nathan, and our tiny farmer is joining us for his nap today here in the garden. So over the summer, we saved up our pennies and seed money, and we ended up getting 261 bulbs to plant this fall. So we're going to get started today. We're definitely not going to be able to plant all of them while he naps. But we are starting with our ranunculus anemones, and we also got a peony root that we're going to be planting out in our flower garden. So he is armed with our hoey knife, which is one of our favorite tools, especially planting in mostly red clay. We are adding some compost. We'll link below to this tool because it is our favorite digging tool for weeding and planting. It's fantastic, so we'll link below to that one. And we're also bringing some compost along that we got from our compost pile. We've been decomposing some of our vegetable stuff for the last year or so, along with kitchen scraps. So we're using some of our homemade compost in our holes that we're digging today, so let's get planting. So the last couple years I've been trying to get something to grow in this corner here, and we're going to see if the peony has success. And since it likes a little bit more spacing, we're going to put it over in this corner over here to see how it grows for us. And the last year I had some anemones that I planted on either side of our path right here, and actually one of them is coming up in the fall randomly. We'll see if we get a bloom off of that before frost. And then on the other side I had a few ranunculus bulbs that I planted, and they were beautiful last year, so that's why I wanted to get a few more of those corms into the ground. So we're going to be just putting a handful of them out today. I think I have 10 of each, along with the peony that we're planning on getting planted this morning. So as you can see, we bought a lot of bulbs that we need to get in the ground. So we bought daffodils and crocus and tulips and some alliums as well. So we loaded up another 5-gallon bucket of compost, and then we decided to dump all of the daffodils just into another 5-gallon bucket and mix them all up so that all the different varieties will just be randomly around the homestead. So we designed and built our farmhouse to look like it had been here for at least 100 years. And we're also trying to make the outbuildings and the landscaping match that era that we're going for the house, giving it some character. So we're at the back of our farmhouse here. You don't usually see this side of our house that often, but we do have flower beds along our back deck here and wrapping around the house. So we are putting some of the crocuses and alliums back here we're going to be adding some of the daffodils back here eventually as we get to them. But today we're mostly focusing on the crocuses and the alliums. And if we have time, if the baby's naps cooperate, we will be putting out the daffodils back here. But we have been doing a pretty wide spacing for the crocuses because we know that they're going to multiply. Same thing with the alliums. They're going to multiply over the years. So we're planting pretty lightly in each of these areas. We'll get a few blooms next spring, but as the years go on, we'll have more and more as they multiply. That's one of the ways that we're able to save a little bit of money on buying a lot of these bulbs, is we are in it for the long game. We know that they're going to multiply and we're going to have more later, so we don't have to invest as much money up front to have it full immediately. So for the tulips, we don't live in a climate that has enough chill hours for them to do well by being planted in the ground. You'd have to dig them up every year. So we decided to plant them in all of our random pots that didn't have anything else in them, so that when we do need to dig them up next year, it's easy to find them. They're not all intermixed with our other perennials. We just pull them out of the pots, put them in the fridge over the winter, and then we can replant them again.
So this lovely tool is such a time saver. It is an auger, 3.2, which hooks up to a drill. What's nice is you keep it on low settings so the battery lasts a long time. And you just push the trigger and it takes the soil out, making it nice and light so you don't have to worry about compaction like you would with other type of planting devices. So it's wonderful, especially for our heavy clay. It will penetrate it without a problem at all. So we've been using this, and we've already planted twice as many bulbs than what we could thought we could today. And we'll put a link below for this. Make sure to check it out, as it's very inexpensive and a very helpful tool.
So with the daffodils, we are tucking up in different random places around the homestead, by the well house, by one of our spigots, along the driveway in different places, as we want to give a sense of place, as if people have been here for a long time and the daffodils have been spreading over the years. Because if you think about some of the old homesteads that you may find in the Appalachian Mountains, you will find little tufts of crocus and daffodils in the woods around the ruins of the old cabins. And so we wanted to give a little bit of sense of place as well here by doing the same thing. So we ended up planting a whole bunch of them at the gate at our entrance, as well as about every 10 to 15 feet all the way along our driveway up to here. So we're looking forward to having a beautiful drive-in in the spring here. And we can't wait to show you what it looks like next year. So we have planted nearly all of the 260 some odd bulbs that we purchased this year. We have one last place that we still need to plant, and it's right here at the entrance to our woods. So our land is 50% pasture, 50% woods, and this is our entrance from the back of our house into the woods, and it's where what we see out of our living room window. So we like to make it nice and pretty, and so we're going to line the beginning of the path into the woods with some daffodils. But first we need to clean up some of our firewood scrap pile out there before we can get them into the ground. So that'll be a project for another day. But we're going to wrap up this video here, as we have gotten most of the daffodils in the ground for the winter ahead, and we cannot wait to see what they look like in the spring. Catch you next time.